Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. My name is Karen Cagg, and I am an LRMT. And today I'm here for the LRMT Spotlight with Kathy Milanowski. Hello,
Hi,
Kathy.
hi, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you, Karen, for inviting
Thank you.
me to
Thank you.
share. Yeah.
So, the purpose of the International Center for Reiki Training, as you probably know, is to support the Reiki community, both the practitioners and Reiki teachers, people trying to grow a Reiki business. And so, as an LRMT, we have been through a lot of extra training. We have some experience. And so William Rand wanted us to share some of our experience. And that's the purpose of this LRMT Spotlight. And I'm so happy to have Kathy here because she has taught me, just as a colleague, she has taught me so much about growing a business. And so I asked her to come on and share with everyone, and she agreed. So Kathy, um, share some of your ideas. If someone is trying to start a Reiki practice
Mhm.
or attract more students, um, what should they do? What makes them stand out?
Well, first of all, it's being creative, showing your spark and showing your light. I mean, Reiki is a very, it's very, what's the word for it? I'm trying to think of it. It's very personal. And so if you have a profession as a Reiki practitioner or a Reiki teacher, it's a little different than having a profession as being a lawyer and how you advertise yourself out, because it is a very personal thing, a very intimate thing. And so with that in mind, you start being creative and showing your light and your positiveness, or the ways that you got to that point, or you're in that journey and you want to share it with other people. That's a start, a great start.
Yeah,
But
but
go ahead.
it's scary to do that. I know, because when you start a business, you want to be like really professional and everything, but you're saying that you need to just be yourself, and that's what's going to attract more people because it's a more personal kind of business.
Yes, I totally. At least that's worked for me. It's worked for me in every avenue I could think of, to social media, to in persons in my wellness center, word of mouth. People are like, Kathy's very heart welcoming and heart going. Even when I first started out teaching, people would come to my classes because they liked my light. They liked the presence that I brought in, when I go and visit other spiritual functions and stuff like that, and get to know people, and you get all these different things. And when you meet people, you start getting all these different kind of ideas and things, and creative storms comes through to you, so you want to make sure when you're starting out your process to put yourself out there. You want to be consistent. So it's either like, you be consistent on social media, you be consistent on your blogs, you can be consistent of being a writer, or even going to a social function or a group event. It's nice to say, oh, I know Kathy's going to be here this month because she's here every month, whatever you do. And so people can start relying on you, or telling other friends about you that you will be at a certain place.
So when you first moved to Wisconsin, I know that you were in business in Seattle and then you moved to Wisconsin. What kind of things did you do to get to be known, to be present and let people get to know you? What,
Okay,
what
so
kind of
it was
what kind
pretty,
of events did you do?
yeah, it was pretty hard. So Seattle's where I got connected to the Reiki source. And in a period of 6 months, I was taken out of, uplifted in Seattle into Wisconsin, which was very Reiki driven and guided. But I still kind of fought through the process because it was very scary for me. I go to a place that's a little bit more alternative way of thinking compared to the farmlands, but I didn't realize that when I got here, I did a couple things. They had a community garage sale, and I was kind of warned maybe not to do it and be myself of talk about Reiki all the time. And so I set up a tent, and I put stuff out there. And this is 4 days after I moved here, Karen.
Wow.
And I prayed to Reiki. So the first thing is, Reiki is a tool, right? Reiki helps guide you. Use the tool, use that relationship. Get with that relationship. Learn, work with it. Work with the vibration that connects you who you really are and your self-guidance. And so I did that with a lot of crying because I was very scared. I did that, and I went and put my tent up and started that day, because I was kind of advised maybe not to do it and talk about Reiki right away, being so new to the village. And I met, in a period of 4 hours, 8 Reiki masters.
Wow.
Each Reiki master came to me, and I didn't say it right away. I just touched them, like, oh my God, you have Reiki. I'm like, yeah, you know, 'cause I'm a touchy person. And 2 of them said they could only give Reiki to plants. I was like, what? It just threw me off for a minute, but it didn't make me emotional. And I was like, oh, you know, you could give it to people because they touch me. They're like, you're giving me Reiki. I'm like, of course I'm giving you Reiki. And so we talked about how you could give Reiki to everybody, right? Everything. Another person comes, they're a Reiki master for about 5 years. And they said that you could give Reiki to everything but humans. And then I started crying. I was like, what is going on? I was totally flabbergasted. But what happened was, whoever trained some of the people that were in this area gave them guidelines saying that you could only give Reiki to certain things. And maybe they switched it, or the student got confused and they passed it on. One or the other. All I know is every single one of the 8 people told me that you could not give Reiki to something. And a couple of them were humans. I was like, or yourself. I was like, well, I know. So then I realized, don't matter where you're at, it doesn't even matter if it's a community garage sale, pull up your tent, give a little bit of love, you know. I do a lot of festivals. Every state has their own little niche about communities. You know what I mean? They have festivals and this and that. In Wisconsin, when it gets nice, everybody's out in the festival. So there's health festivals, there's wellness expos, there's, rock festivals, you know what I mean? There's music festivals too. There's all different kind of things. And you will always see some kind of metaphysical tent up, and people are getting, treatments. Now, what I tell people about that, my students, is that you got to think of a couple things. You got to think a little logically. First of all, if you're there to make money, it probably is not going to happen at that moment. You're going to get $20 for a treatment, and it's going to be fast and things, but you're going to get a clientele because they're going to come back. They're going to find you and come back to you. Maybe at that festival, you're able to give it an event, like a meditation, and get your name across. So when you go to those kind of social things, you're really advertising who you are, introducing to you who you are and what you're doing. So you go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say that's a really good idea. Just getting your name out there. And then, but we've talked a little bit about, like, how do you find a balance between doing, say, free events, or doing something where you're just, doing a treatment for $20 or something. Because I sometimes I get caught up and I'm doing so many things for free that I really don't have any time for developing other parts of my business. How do you,
like about 2 weeks ago, I go in, we all do our meditations and stuff. And Reiki kind of taught me about it. Like, you need to look at this. What are you doing free? And don't get negative about it. You can write down the list, like, whoa, I'm doing a lot of social media free. I'm doing this free. This takes up my time. And, and then I looked at a different perspective, not just a business, but like looked at it like, oh, now people might know my name a little more. Maybe people say, I liked what she said, and I might take a class with her. You know what I mean? So you got to put things in perspective, but you don't want to put yourself too thin. You want to make sure that you could nourish yourself so you could continue to go onward as a teacher. That's the hardest thing for teachers, is that Reiki teachers, they, or any light practitioner, what's the difference? I always tell people the difference between somebody that works with the light, and, Reiki's one of them, then somebody else, is that we all go through our work. We all go through our shadow work. We all go through all the stuff. But as a light worker, when we come out, we want to share it. And this is where we get in trouble, I think, a little bit, is that we want to share it and we would like to give it out for free, but we have to realize we have to nourish ourselves. We have to buy food. We have to take care of our environment, you know? So you have to weigh that out, but you don't want to feel bad. If you start feeling bad, you're giving out free things and you're not feeling good about it, then look at it, redirect yourself, look at it, love yourself through that process. And you might have to put a couple things away, you know, put them to the side and say, this is now I'm going to give this to somebody else, or, you know, continue it on, you know, compared to whatever, or just stop doing it and see if it works. But it should work. I mean, you put something out there, I would say, you know, everybody has their energetic field and how they echo out and come back to them. And you can see, I see patterns. And so when I echo something out, it will take about a month and a half for me to see something come back to me sometimes.
So it sounds like that you really just need to give yourself Reiki. You need to be in tune with the energy, with yourself, and just follow that guidance.
Yeah.
You have built a huge community with Reiki Studio.
Yeah. Reiki helped me through that. When I first came to Wisconsin, I'm not good with computers, or I can't say that anymore. I'm doing a lot better with technical stuff, and I'm really learning through this process when we were all inside. And it just whispered, you know, my insides whispered, said, you need to do a Facebook group. And this is 9 years ago. And so slowly I brought up Reiki Studio. A girlfriend of mine was talking and she's just called Reiki Studio. I was like, okay. And so I called it Reiki Studio, and slowly people were coming in, and it was light workers from everywhere because I wanted to learn everything. I mean, don't we all like to learn and grow? And so I figured if I had to figure out what I wanted to do in a group, how I wanted to go through. So what was my focus? You know, it was light workers all around the world. Didn't matter what modality you are. That's how it is. You know, I didn't want heavy advertisement on there. And I didn't want heavy people asking for Reiki all the time, because sometimes those groups are great, but that's all they're known for. And I wanted to educate. My big thing was education. And so I did Reiki Studio, and we got 2,000 people a couple months ago. We had a party. Remember that? That was absolutely.
What I love about it is, and this is what I think you can share with other people, is that you've come up with ideas like the panel presentation. So you gave a whole, well, we're still in the middle of it. Like with the chakras, you know, like, let's just go chakra by chakra, and, you know, and you've enabled other people in the group. It's not just you talking, you've like thrown out a line, and I think other people could do this as well. If they start a community, is to, you know, throw it out there and let them.
You know, it's nice. I want to learn too. You know, I'm a little bit of a control freak. So I like that. I was telling you, I was like, I've never been on the other side for a long time. And, you know, I need to learn that balance. But it's nice that I know mostly everything that I put out there in my class, you know, because I'm that little bit of control that I want to make sure that I can at least give people information. But what I like about the panelists is that Reiki guided me to that when all this was going on this last year. Said, why don't you help people that want to have a voice or have something to say and help their business out, you know, but let them give you information. So I started it out, you know, it started out with that, and it started in October about sacred sexuality. And then we went into, and it was a big talk on Reiki Studio, and surprised me. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is a taboo subject no one wants to talk about, and it's the most beautiful thing in the world. You know what I mean? So let's talk about it. And so I decided to do that. That was the first passion of it, because I want people to be healed. I don't want people to feel it's gross, or, you know what I mean? Kind of like deal. And so it started off with that. Then we did empathic studies, and then we did sound healing. And then in the beginning of the January, I decided to do the chakras. And it's just so awesome. It is so awesome that how people stand up and say, hey, I want to talk, Kathy. This is what I need. Can you help me give you a little guidance and focus? And that's what I do, because you're the host, like you, Karen, right?
Well, but what's great about that, and this is another piece of advice, if someone who's listening is a Reiki master and you haven't gotten brave enough to teach a whole class yet, if you could organize something like this and do like Kathy did, let's teach one little bit. The best way to learn something is to teach it. So like Kathy said, like study it, and then present it to other people. And that's a good way to get started teaching if you're feeling a little nervous.
And if you do it on social media, you could record it. And that's what I was told to do. And I didn't realize it. And 3 months later, I started my YouTube. Found out how strong YouTube was, but I had all these recordings already. So all I had to do is figure out how to use YouTube right. And so then I put all these recordings on there. I put the recordings on my website, you know, once in a while I could flip a recording. After you have them on YouTube, it's a free, easy download. You just put the address up there and offer them out.
So do you have some advice then about doing, I don't know how to put that exactly, like do one thing and then you can use it in several different ways for your business to present it in different ways?
What do you mean? Like the videos I just said, or?
Yeah, like sometimes it might have like sometimes I'll do a talk on Clubhouse and then do the same thing and make a video, and then, you know, it will be on Facebook
and put it out there.
Put it on Instagram, and then, yeah.
I forward everything. I realize that everything I do, even my meditations and stuff, I'll video it. Zoom is a free application you can use. And we're taping this right now. And I'm going to put it on my website. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to put them everywhere. Why not? It's free. It takes 2 minutes of my time. I might doctor it up a little bit and make something fun happen, but you know, it's not necessary. People will watch you, you know, and that's part of your servitude too, because it's free.
Right. And you're helping other people.
You're helping other people.
Yeah. I'm checking to see if we have any comments or anything yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we do have 3 comments. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, that's okay. So another thing is like when she's looking at comments, it's like when you join a community, you know, you could do it. You could be the leader of that community and start something up in your area, or you could do like a collective. And a collective is something that you work with other people, and you could do it in your area, or you could do it online. You know, just a little while ago, I teamed up with Karen with a Karuna group. And I got to meet new people. It was absolutely nourishing for me, you know, and then when I needed help, we just worked with each other, you know. It was a wonderful group. And don't be shy to do that, you know. But then again, you might get overstimulated and want to go to one group, to another group, to another group. And that's okay too, but don't put yourself too thin. You know, that's the biggest thing, is when those creative juices fly up, you could go everywhere. You know what I mean? And you got the power to go everywhere, but you got so much to keep you standing and generating you on through that. And so you have to realize what's going on. And you might have like 4 things that you want to do, but one is more focused, you know, and you do more energy, and the other ones you just do a little bit, it's going to take a longer time. And just realize that. Give yourself a little plan, like Trello, Trello.com. Love it.
Thank you for introducing me to that. Yeah, Trello, Trello.com. That's when we work collaboratively, because Kathy and I, we do work collaboratively a lot, because it just sort of keeps the creativity going, you know, just brainstorming together. And that Trello lets you keep up with projects that you're working on. Like you have a to-do list, and then you move it when it's done over here, and like, how are you doing on this? And it's one place we can go and see what the other person has done.
It's beautiful. Yeah. What did you get anything, or did
mainly people are saying like, yes, I don't see a question. I just see something like, hello from this. Oh, somebody said it was great information. Great. I wanted to tell them, Kathy, one of the things we're collaborating on, because I think this is an idea that lots of people could do. It came out of the co-hosting the Reiki show on Psychic Fixes.
Yep. And that's another thing, is go to other people's groups and say, can I do a live thing? What's your guidelines? You know, do I just talk about something? Can I advertise something? Can I go live? And that's where me and Karen met up on this. So go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, tell them about the idea. So what, because I think it's a great idea for other Reiki teachers as well. We were.
So, you know, I'm a type of person, I know myself that if I get with somebody else, I can really brainstorm. I'm a great brainstormer. If I feel comfortable and relaxed and we start getting, I got the right person magnet to me to get me going, I could brainstorm a lot of stuff. And I'm a pretty creative, sacral person. And so I was invited to a group called Psychic Fixes. And I'm an empath, but I'm also a psychic. And I love the idea of talking about Reiki, you know, and bringing it into the psychic developments and stuff like that. And so me and Karen were talking about it, and I asked her to come with me and talk about it because I just love having fun with her if she wants to do it. And so we started talking about it. And we're like, well, we would like, what are we doing here? What are we getting out of this? You know, so let's go ahead and offer a Reiki class. 2 LMR teachers teaching together. Why wouldn't you want to, you know, that sounds fun, you know?
We have prize of one.
Right, you know? So we did something like that, got together, collaborated together and said, okay, now us teaching together, since we're LMRTs, we can't offer, you know, the certified course that we can offer. But let's do a little like extra. Let's do some psychic flair. Since we're in a psychic group, let's just, you know, bring in some psychic techniques and suggestions why we're doing it, or making obvious some of the things that we're doing with Reiki, we're using our third eye too. So, you know, but we did that, we're doing that together. So we're pretty excited. And, you know, one is going to be an empath one. You know, you could go and tailor it to other students or other populations.
I think this is a great idea because for the students, so if you are a Reiki master teacher, this would make you stand out a little bit, but offer a space where you're going to teach exactly the same thing. You're going to cover all of the Reiki 1 and 2 material, but you're bringing together people who are just interested in developing their psychic abilities, which, I mean, if you've worked with Reiki for a while, you know that it starts opening up abilities that you didn't even know you had. So gather those people together. They can network, or empaths, or I thought you could even do this and do it just for nurses, or a class where it's mainly massage therapists, because, you know, the conversations would be a little bit different. The discussion would be a little bit different. So I thought that was a great idea, Kathy. She came up with that. That's a great tip for teachers. And you guys could do that.
It's fun. And you might, you know, you might get 3 or 4 massage therapists together in a class, and then they tell their massage school about you, that it was really fun. And now you got a gig at a massage school, you know? Okay. So it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of nice, just flow what goes for you.
Yeah. Margot asked, will this still be a 2-day class? Yes, it's going to be exactly the same class. Yep. It's just that, you know, how when we talk about the symbols, like what each symbol is for, we might tailor it to people developing psychic ability more.
Well, here's something. And this is in our manual, Reiki 1 and 2. When we were doing eye Reiki, which you could give Reiki to your eyes, right? Goshiho, right? And you're giving Reiki. This is your third eye center, right? And we'll talk about our third eye center. So people might feel it get a little tingly. You're using your eyes, that's a Reiki technique that's there that we're just pointing out. That you are exercising your psychic muscle, right?
Yeah, the emphasis may be a little bit different, is all.
Exactly.
People developing psychic abilities. Whereas if we were teaching empaths, we might be trying to teach them how to like shut that down a little bit more. I don't know.
Expand your heart out more.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Bring it in and learn how to talk with it. But yeah, it's just, you just work with it, different techniques, and you just bring that in. So like we'll bring in a couple little bonus things. Into it.
It may, I don't think it'll be much longer though. It's still going to be a 2-day class.
Yeah.
But
just
a few extra things in there.
Yeah, just a few extra things.
So, Kathy, we've been talking for 24 minutes. Okay. So we could probably talk about these other business techniques forever, but the takeaway is be your true self. Don't spread yourself too thin. Offer some free things, because that's going to, one, help you grow as a teacher and a practitioner, but don't spread yourself too thin. And collaborate with other people. Don't be afraid to be creative. Don't be afraid to try different things. I think that's really good advice.
And so fun.
Have fun.
Have
Yeah.
fun. Who wants to go to a job when you're not having fun at it? Especially if you're a Reiki person, you know, you feel down and out. Well, then try to figure out how to open up more, you know, can you collaborate with somebody else, or maybe you do have to go a little alone. Sometimes I go in big groups and then I go alone to get
Pull
my
back,
stuff
me too.
together. Yep. And then I come back to the group, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, everybody has their different patterns, so don't, you know, fight yourself if you don't want to be in a group. And we're talking about being in groups, you know. Do what your flow is, you know, do what charges you.
That's
You have to
great.
go outside to charge yourself, to bring it in, then do it, you know.
Yeah. Kathy, thank you so much for being here and sharing your words of wisdom and expertise. And again, the ICRT is here to support everyone and help build this community and help spread Reiki through the world. So we thank you for watching. And we're going to be doing LRMT I can't say it, spotlights, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, LRMT spotlight a couple of times a month so we can share some ideas with you. And we love you guys, and we will see you soon.
Much love.
Bye.